everybody, and welcome to another video. Today is just going to be a little bit on the shorter side, but I am going to be going through all of the folders in the RPG Maker game folder, I guess, and showing you exactly what everything does, what it means, and how you can change it to affect your game. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright everybody, so here we have the basic one, which I just get by going to Game, Open Folder, and then that pops up right here. Ignore this. That is from my custom character, which I just did in here and saved right there, so it's not relevant. That won't be in yours. This is what launches your worked on project, so you can just double click that and it'll open the editor as save, which I don't have any right now aside from the auto saves, but when you go in and save, that will be accessed here. So if you want to delete a save or something, it can be edited in here, and also plugins that affect your saves, and there's like global saves. If you want to try and pull an Undertale, they would edit this folder. This is where if you want to ignore me. Oh, don't ignore me. Ignore that click. If you want to play movie, see, I have none in there currently, but if you wanted to play a movie, that would be the folder that you would put it into. Right here, JS, it stands for JavaScript. This is where you put all of your plugins that you would like to use in your project, and make sure they are in the .js format, otherwise they will not work. These are just some of the default stuff that comes with, and I actually have no idea what this does. I don't touch this. I've never needed to touch it, so we just kind of ignore its existence. I'm sure it's important if you actually make your own stuff, but you know, I just kind of ignore it. I'm going to skip over the image folder for now, because there's a lot to that. So we're going to come back to that later. This is literally the icon. It's when you hit play on the game. It's what pops up down here. So you would just replace that and make sure that you keep the name icon.png to make sure that it pops up in the right place. That's all that is. Fonts. This is where you add any fonts you would like to do. I suggest that you add your font first thing before writing any dialogue, because the font will fit into each text box a little bit differently. So if you put it in after you've already written all the dialogue, you're going to get words that cut off. I recommend dafont.com if you're looking for some good royalty-free Creative Commons fonts. I use that a lot for all my stuff, and they have a lot of really cool fonts on there. And number 2 with fonts, make sure they are legible, please. It's all well and good if your font is like really pretty and artistic. Go ham on the title screen. But the most important thing about dialogue is that it's easily readable and understandable. If you have this really complex font, then no one's going to want to take the time to read your dialogue. Effects, this is oops, wrong one. Where is it? I am blind. Animations. This is where all the animations for all of this stuff is. So let's see if I click this. These are all the different effects you have, and this is where they all come from. These are all the default ones. If you really want your game to stand out from our other RPG Maker games, delete all of these and go find ones for free all over the internet. They exist. Trust me, I'm not the best at effects here, so I have definitely gone on to like Itch and found free ones, and just honestly Googling it. I highly recommend the RPG Maker forums if you're trying to find anything though. There is so much content on there for free. Well, oftentimes all they require is a free version of your game. A lot of them don't even require that, and that is not a big ask. Let's see, it just affects data. This, you will never directly edit this folder. This is just where all the stuff that you do in this system appears. So to edit all of these, you would want to go into the actual game thing and not worry about it from the folders. CSS, same thing. Audio, there are 3 different types of audio. I believe I touched on this in my audio video, but I'm going to go over it again. SE, sound effects. ME, music effects. BGS, background sounds. BGM, background music. Last time I tried to go into all of these folders in that video, my recording crashed, so we're not going to do that, but I will briefly talk about each of them. These 2 are loopable. They will play over and over and over again until you tell the system to stop. These 2 are single things. So it's like the attack noise or the sound of a coin when you buy something, stuff like that. Music effects is kind of like the end noise, you know, when you go rest it and it's like do 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 do. Yeah, that's a music effect. Sound effects are like bam, slam, shack, an animal noise, stuff like that. BGS is like, now this, you do not have to follow this. If you want to have 2 different songs playing at the same time, save one in the BGS folder and save the other one in the BGM folder, and you can have them going at the same time. Don't know why you do that, but I'm sure someone out there could find something fun to do with that. But background sounds generally are sounds of the waterfall, water, rain, fire, a clock ticking, just something that's a consistent noise. And background music is self-explanatory. It's the music that plays in the background. All right, so now let's jump into the final folder, the image folder. And as you can see, there is so much in this folder. So first, let's talk about BattleBax 1 and 2. BattleBax 1 is the floor tile. These will go underneath, I mean, both of them go underneath the characters, but it's just, they go underneath BattleBax 2. So these will be the very background. Please don't use default. If you're trying to differentiate yourself, don't use any of these by themselves. Edit them. Even just shift the saturation or the opacity. Even the smallest differences will make a huge deal, because let's be real here. Most of the people playing RPG Maker games are people who work in RPG Maker. So we've all seen this 1,000 times. So if you really want to make your games stand out, don't use default stuff. You see BattleBax 2, it just goes over the top. Not of the character, but of BattleBax 1. Characters, which is all of the characters that you can set for the event. You can change their size. See, okay, so notice that this is 3 by 4. So that is why there is both an exclamation mark and a $sign in the name, because these are also not 48 by 48 pixels. They are bigger. So they only have 3 across, 4 down, and they are bigger than normal. So that is the exclamation mark, $sign. These guys have the full 12 across and however many 8 down, but they are not 48 by 48. So that is what the exclamation mark stands for. It is for things that are the proper amount of, oh my goodness, 12 by 8, but they are not the right size. For things that are the right size, you don't do anything, you just name them. And for things that are the right size, but only have the 3 by 4, then you would put a $sign, like this guy. And yeah, that's the basics of characters. Then we have enemies. This, I see down here, it says side SV, that stands for side view. So this is front view enemies. Don't let the name deceive you. It's just the default one, so it just says enemies instead of front view enemies, which is where if you're using a front view system, you would put all of your enemy icons. And if you're using a side view system, you would put it in this folder. Same thing with side view actors. This is where all of your battle images of your characters will go. Nothing special. On these guys, for notation? I don't know. This is where your face images go, which is self-explanatory. Parallaxes. These are the things that run in the background behind everything. If you're parallax mapping, this is the folder that you would put stuff into. You just have all your different backgrounds and everything you could want. I really like the trees. I don't know why I like the trees as much as I do, but I do. Yeah, so that's parallaxes. You can put an exclamation mark by a parallax map to keep it still and not have it scroll with the player. For instance, here, let me show you something. Okay. Oh, I have the player starting transparent. That's not helpful. Okay. Wait, after. Okay. I didn't think this through. Hold on. Oh boy, it hates me. Give me one moment. Let's just make it wider. Oh, he thinks let's make it bigger. We're not going to talk about my Doctor Who face. Anyways. Okay. Holding down. There we go. Okay. Okay, it's being wonky. Give me a sec. I swear this all has a point. It's an entirely possibility that this is a RMMV very violin AMV featured. Okay, there, yeah. See how the player moves and the map doesn't. Leave if I pull that back up. And then do this. And do this. Now it moves. Yeah, I was right. So the exclamation point means that it will stay in place, and as the player moves, it will loop itself. Otherwise, it just moves with the screen. So if you have just a sunny day in the background, you would want to have the exclamation point so that it would move with the map instead of just the player moving around and the background staying the exact same. That is what the exclamation point does, and I'm really glad that all of that was not for nothing. Anyways, where were we? Parallaxes. Pictures. These are the things that can be called in-game by... We're not gonna elaborate on that. Oh my goodness. Here. So show picture. If you want to have like cool lighting effects going over the top, you'd want to add them into the picture folder. Yeah. Let's see. We've done yes, no. Yeah, let's do the system next. Go in chronological order. Oh goodness. Zoom. Okay. So this is the system folder. You'll find a bunch of different things in here. Like the icons. These are what play when you show character icon. By default, it does give you some custom space, so if you want to add in more, you can. Yeah, that's just icons. Buttons, if you're playing using the touchscreen features for mobile or stuff, these are where those are, and you can edit those to your heart content. Game over, this is the game over screen. Icon set, this is the little things you can add to the pictures to show what they are. I highly recommend editing this if you're trying to do a custom game. This is a splash screen to play at the beginning with one of the apps, plugins, goodness, that comes default. With this, you can add a splash screen, so it gives you that. That is the shadow. 2 different shadows that appear under players during the battle and then during on the menu screen. These are status effects. If you want to do a custom status, this is where it will come in. However, you will notice on here, there is a limited number of overlays. If you wanted to do that, you would need a plugin to add custom ones to it. So you could edit the pre-existing ones if you didn't want to use a plugin, but you would need a plugin if you wanted to add more than is already there. I don't want to know how many of these I have opened. Where were we? It's weapons. That's what it sounds like. It's the weapons the characters use in battle. There's short sword, long sword, axe, flail, spear, stabby gun, and then the rest. Bigger gun, there was a freaking chainsaw. How did I not know that? See, this is why you explore these things, because I do mostly fantasy stuff. So I had no idea there was a legitimate chainsaw in here. That would be fun. Goodness, I'm sorry. The final weapons. This is the window. So this is where things get a little more complicated. This is your gradient. Whenever you are selecting a color, it comes from here, and it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. This is your selection. So when you're hovering over something to select, this color will flash over it. This is the background color. This is a pattern that goes over the background color. This is your window border. These are your, this is your thing that appears at the bottom of a text box that bounces up and down, then you know to move on. These are the things that show you, like up in the menu, where to go. And after I finish, because we're almost at the end, going through all the stuff in the system, I will go show you that. Oh, that is the last thing. Well, that's perfect. So let's see. I've already done this one, but there are text boxes in here, so I can show you how that works. All right, be prepared for noise. Okay, let's quiet that down. All right, you see the little blue bar appears and flashes on whatever option you're selecting. That you'll see the outside border, and if you look really close, you can see the pattern and then the background color. Let me go talk to someone. Let's actually go talk to a real person. See the little thing that pops up and down here? The thing I showed you. And yeah, that's the menu. Window, not menu. Sorry, my B. I'm going to skip over tile sets and come back to that last and just quickly go over tiles. There's the first one, which is the one that goes in the background. And then there's the one that goes above it, much like with Battlebacks, which comes with these 2 default ones. I actually quite like this one. It'd be kind of cool if you removed the bottom and then just had the top, or you could turn it sideways. There's just so many different possibilities of stuff that you could do with default stuff. But in here, we have our tile sets, which I briefly went over in my tile set video. But I'll just go into the basics here. A1 is your water tiles. This is the dungeons one. This is the inside one. But you notice all the water tiles are A1. All the floor tiles, A2, A2, A2. All of the... This is the only A3. which will be the roofs that are angled but actually you tile them as if they're flat. These guys are flat. These are just basic walls, and that A4 is going to be more of the same thing, except for these guys are actually square, and you can do weirder shapes with them because they have the corners and fancy stuff on them. A5, these guys do not tile. They are just individual things you can place down, and they will be by themselves. And then B, C, D, and E are all non-tileable things. They're just things you take in and plop down, and it can be anything. But yeah. If you get confused, something I always used to do is when I was going to take custom tiles from anyone or do my own, I would take where I want to do and I would copy this into my imaging editor of choice. I personally use GIMP, and I would copy this in there. And then when I wanted to save it into the system, I would add like F underscore outside B. So you would still maintain this original one, but you would have your own, so you could constantly go and compare the two and see how it all worked. But yeah, that is a quick and dirty everything you need to know about the game folder. And I hope you all enjoyed, got some good info, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!